Hello. Okay, in today's episode, we are going to talk about how to shift our energy and results, especially when we feel like nothing is working. We've all been there. We've all had the days and the moments, sometimes longer, sometimes weeks, months. I hope not years, but I'm sure we can look back on some years where we're like, dude, this ain't working. This is not it. How do we shift that? I'm going to give you a framework today that is going to change these moments for you, which is going to change your energy, which is going to change your results, which could and probably will change your life. So get excited because this is a goodie. Welcome to All In with Allie, the podcast for online entrepreneurs and business owners who are ready to create the life and business of their dreams. I'm so happy you are here. I feel like I haven't recorded in a while. I had a few episodes batched and we had a lot going on, and it feels really good to be back in front of a mic with you today. And I'm genuinely very excited to talk about this topic because this is what I coach on the most. And this is what I coach myself on the most too. I have gotten a lot better to where I don't tell myself the lie anymore that, quote, nothing's working, because that's a lie. But sometimes it feels like that. I've been there. I still go there sometimes. And when you know how to successfully shift, it is everything, because your energy is going to attract in results, right? What you focus on is going to grow. We know all of the cliche, sexy sayings. So it all boils down to shifting when you are in a bad spot, when you're feeling how you don't want to feel, and when you're creating things that you don't want to create. We've got to make a shift. How do we do that? Let me give you a framework right now. So the number one thing you want to understand when you are in a situation where you're like, oh my gosh, like the reason why you would feel that nothing's working is because your current results are not reflecting or are not a match for what it is that you want to see, right? And often if you're in the place where you feel like nothing's working, it's because your results are so far off from where you want to be. So the first thing that you want to acknowledge here, and it shifts things in perspective so fast for me. And that is this truth, which is your current reality, where you are right now, is an example of past thoughts and feelings. It's an old manifestation. Your life, your results, the conversations that you're having, the people in your life, the experiences, the circumstances, everything right now is proof of a past way that you were thinking and feeling. So it's really easy to get hung up on results and be like, I'm doing everything right. Why isn't this working? Nothing's working. You're thinking this way because you're looking for things to shift instantly. You're looking for, you did your gratitude this morning, so things should be good, right? Maybe you've had a couple of good days where you felt good, or you feel like you've been mindful of your energy. So by now things should have shifted. So we get frustrated when we feel like we've been doing the quote right things, but the results still ain't adding up. The math ain't mathin' to what we actually want it to be. That's when we get frustrated. So the first thing here is you just need to remember that your energy, your results haven't caught up to your energy yet. They're on its way. Things are shifting. As soon as you shift your energy, everything shifts. But lucky for us, things don't shift instantly in most cases. Thank God. Because imagine how much you go back and forth, because we're humans, right? You're going to feel really good one day, and then somebody's going to cut you off, and then that's going to like shift your mood. And then your partner is going to say something or forget to do something, and that's going to shift your mood. And then your kid's going to be in a funk, and that's going to shift your mood. And then a client might do something, and there's no way to maintain this blissful, just out of this world vibe. I mean, we can become more practiced, but at the end of the day, we are humans and we have emotions for a reason. So that's not even the goal, to be these robots that don't feel things. You're going to feel things, but you just have to remember that, lucky for us, things don't manifest instantly. If the second you had a thought, the thing instantly came into being, that would be terrifying, especially those of you who listen to freaking crime podcasts. Okay. That's a hill that I'm happy to die on. Stop. Like, luckily, these things don't come instantly into our existence, because that would be like, on one hand, that'd be really cool for some things, and then it would be really bad really fast. So it takes some time, right? One of the best analogies that I've heard of this was, it's like an air freshener infiltrating a room. Think of it that way. So when you plug in an air freshener, it's not going to instantly change the smell of a room. It's going to take time for the aroma to first infiltrate a section of the room. And then it's going to take more time to fill up the whole room. And then it's going to take more time to fill up the hallway that's connected to the room. And then it's going to take even more time to fill up the next room and the next room. And it's going to take even more time to fill up the whole space. And it only fills up the whole space if you keep the air freshener plugged in. So what we do is we plug in an quote air freshener, AKA we feel the feeling that we want to feel for a relatively short period of time. If you compare it to your freaking life, okay, very short period of time. We do 5 minutes of gratitude. We do a little meditation. We, maybe get a workout in, get some good endorphins. We're like, boom, yeah, I'm doing it. We feel those feeling thoughts for a relatively short period of time. And then we unplug it, because we think this is ultimately, like, if you really believe this stuff is real, you wouldn't unplug it, but you unplug it because you're like, okay, surely that's enough. So I'm going to revert back to old me, and I'm just going to do me, and I'm going to allow life to tell me how I need to be feeling based on the circumstance. And essentially you unplug the air freshener, and then you wonder, after a few days of that routine, why the aroma that you want to infiltrate your life, right? The thing that you want to happen, the results that you want to see aren't happening. It's because you keep unplugging the thing. You keep unplugging your energy. So remembering, okay, my current results are based on past thoughts and feelings. If I really think it's mostly bad, what's the energy I've been feeling? Can I take responsibility for that? If I think it's mostly good, but there's some bad, okay, that's probably because I've got a mix in energy. Okay. So it's just like realizing that, because it's like, okay, cool. If I like what I see, but I want it to be just a little bit more of this, I need to feel a little bit more of that, a little more often, a little bit more consistently. If I don't like what I see at all, I've got some work to do. So that's the first thing. The second thing is taking count and expressing gratitude for what is working, because this notion of when nothing is working is a lie. And that tells me everything that I need to hear right there. Anytime somebody comes to me, they're like, nothing's working, everything's bad, everything sucks, everything. It's like, well, no wonder. Because number one, that's not true, but that's what you're thinking. Those are your beliefs, and your beliefs are going to dictate what you see in your life. So let's take a step back. Let's zoom out a little bit, and let's take note. Like, really take the time to do this. Take note of what is working in your life. So maybe business isn't the best. Okay. Maybe you're not hitting the goal that you want, or you lost a big deal, or a client is acting some type of way that's rubbing you and whatever, but you're healthy, more healthy than you've ever been. You and your relationship, it's actually going really well, or it's improved. Your kids are well. Like you have a roof over your head. Like even if you need to go to the basics, if you have a roof over your head, it's hot outside and you have air conditioning flowing on your skin right now. Maybe you don't even have that. Maybe it's more basic as like you're listening to a podcast because you found some Wi-Fi and you're able to like better yourself in this period of time. Like whatever it is, what is working, because there are things that are working. But right now, if your vibe truly is nothing is working, you've got some shit goggles on. Okay. So you know how people say like, oh, she has rose-colored glasses, and it's like to poke fun at people who only see things in rosy ways as if that's a bad thing. I actually think that's a superpower. But so there's that, and instead of wearing your rose-colored glasses, or even your realistic glasses, because there's no way everything is wrong in your life, you've got shit goggles on where like everything is colored in brown, and that's not even the truth. That's just the lens, that's the filter you're choosing to look at your life through. And we've got to change that filter, because until you change that filter, that's like you plugging in a shit air freshener. You're like, okay, I want things to be better, so I'm going to mind my energy. So I'm going to plug in this thing, but the scent is shit because I refuse to give gratitude or to show appreciation or even acknowledge all of the things that I used to pray for, all the things that are going well right now. That's a problem. So what is working? Because of course there are things to be thankful for, and shift your focus on those. Something that I say all the time in programs and to my clients is you can look at any situation, any circumstance, anything, I don't care what it is, and you can find 10 things that suck about it, 10 things that are maybe like going wrong or could potentially go wrong, and 10 things that are going right. You can look at your marriage this way. You can look at your business this way. You can look at a launch this way. You can look at your kids, your body, everything. There's always positive and negative. There's duality to everything. So if you feel like literally nothing is going right, it's because you've got you're looking at it through the wrong lens. We need to shift it out a little bit. People like to say, yeah, but that's me being delusional. That's me being, putting my head in the sand. And it's like, okay, maybe that's not such a bad thing. I see nothing wrong with being a little delusional if that means that it's going to change your vibe and what you call into your life. If what you are calling into your life because you're being so aware and because you're focusing on all that is right in this moment and it's not feeling good for you, then we need to add a little bit of delusional into your practices day to day. You do need to look away. Like what can we focus on that's not gonna, because right now your point of attraction is not what we want and it needs to be shifted. So what is working? That's the second piece here. The third, let's get clear what it is based on what's not working, on what it is that you actually want. Okay. So clearly there's something here that's not hitting the mark. So declaring, instead of saying like, this isn't it, what is it that is it? What are you calling in? What do you actually want? And actually, a better way to think about this is, how do you want to feel? That's even better. That's really what we want to get down to. You are upset right now because something is happening in your life, or you're getting some sort of results that are making you feel a way that is not how you want to feel. So usually the thing that we want to create, the feelings that we want to create in our life, are things like joy, love, freedom, expansion, fun, right? Those are the things that we typically want to feel. Like you can boil all the things that we want to create in our life, the car, the success, the notoriety, all of it comes back to those main feelings of like success, joy, love, freedom, fun. Those are the main things. So what's the feeling that's missing here? So maybe for you, your business isn't doing what it's needing to do. So you feel fearful. You don't feel free. You feel tied to something that you don't want to feel tied to. You are overworking because things aren't working the way that you want it to. So you're not having fun. So get clear on how do you want to feel? Because when you get clear on that, we can move on to the next step in this equation, which is taking audit of how you're feeling. Like, are you feeling that way right now? How often are you allowing yourself to feel the feelings that you want to feel more of now? So this was a huge eye opener for me, because the reason why I do what I do in my business is to create a life of freedom for myself, so that I can live that, so I can be an example of that, and so that then I can turn around and tell you how to do that as well. So my big thing is freedom and fun. And when I was experiencing results that were far, far, far off from what I knew I should be experiencing, and I did this, I was like, okay, what do I want to feel? I want to feel free. I want to feel joyful. Okay, how am I feeling those feelings now? I'm not. I'm overworking. I'm putting out offers that I think would work versus what I actually want to put out, because I feel like what I put out won't work. I feel trapped. I feel scared because I keep focusing on the things that aren't working versus the things that are working in my business. So here I am, a physical walking embodiment, basically the poster child for trapped, right? The poster child of bored, overworked, tired, fearful business owner. And I'm wondering why I'm not creating the level of results that I want on the frequency of freedom. Like, I wonder why. So take audit, this is where you've got to get real with yourself. This is where you have to have extreme accountability and take full responsibility for your part in bringing in what you've brought into your life. If you can't do that, that means that you're fully playing victim, right? If it's like, yeah, but so-and-so did this and my husband does that and my kids won't let me do this and my boss and so-and-so and blah, blah, blah. So how am I supposed to, it's like, okay, if everybody is responsible for what's happening in your life, then you are trapped, because not everybody is here to be a pawn in your dream, right? Like, you have to be the star of the show. You have to take control. You are in charge. You're not, you're a co-creator in this. You can't control everything, but the one thing that you can control is the most powerful point, the literal thing that's going to attract in, right? It's like the magnet to the thing that you want. That's the one thing that you can control. So if you can't take responsibility for your role and what you have brought in and what you have created in your life, then you're just going to keep yourself stuck. You're always going to be this bag floating in the wind, doing well if things are going well, and doing really poorly if things are going poorly. Do you see what I'm saying? So like, there's got to be a level of responsibility here where you say, okay, listen, I don't care what happened. It doesn't even matter at this point. I don't need to, you don't need to take score. It's just like, starting right now, I take full responsibility for how I feel, what I choose to focus on, and what I choose to create and put out into the world, and my energy and what I choose to call in, and like, that's on me. Is it going to be perfect? No. But I take responsibility for me and who I am, no matter what, regardless of circumstances. So take audit of that. How are you feeling how you want to feel now? And then how are you feeling misaligned? So what's been the vibe? Chances are, if you're not loving what you're seeing, then it's going to be very clear. Okay, well, I've clearly been feeling this way, right? I spend 10 minutes a day, maybe 20, 30 minutes max, feeling good. And then I leave the rest of it purely up to chance based on circumstances and other people. I'm just a bag floating in the wind at that point. So let's clean that up. That's a big, 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 big piece. The next step here, how to shift when nothing seems to be working or you're not getting the results that you want, is how can you bridge that gap? How can we feel more of what you want to actually feel? So how can you feel more free? How can you feel more love? How can you have more fun? What are some things that you can actually do? This means that you're going to have to make a change in your day. This means like something's got to change, right? So yes, it's going to look like you paying attention to your thoughts and doing some mind work and like, okay, what is the belief that's attached to this thought? Yes, like changing limiting beliefs, that's a big part, but this also can be done with one, what you choose to focus on. That's going to make a really big difference in how you feel differently. And it might look like you make a shift. And like for me, I knew a big piece of what I was doing was like the fun. The fun piece was missing. I'm doing this because I want to feel free and I want to have fun. I want to be an example of what it looks like to run a dream business, create a dream life and a dream business. Fun is included in that, right? Otherwise, it's not a dream. Nobody wants, even if it's a wildly successful business, if it's boring, if your life is boring, then what's the point, right? There's got to be a level of fulfillment there. So for me, it was asking myself, how can I have more fun? How can I make my job more fun? So it looked like working from different places, traveling more, taking care of myself more, taking baths in the middle of the day, sometimes writing copy from the phone in my bath, or just switching it up. How can I feel more free? What can I do to tap into that frequency? That is you bridging the gap. So it's the feeling that you want to feel, and how can you feel more of it more often? This is you taking the filter, or I'm sorry, the cartridge of the scent of the vibe that you want to feel more often, picking the right one, the one that you actually want to infiltrate into your system, into your life, and plugging it in and keeping it plugged in the more often that you can feel like this. And then after that, so your job at that point is like, feel those feelings as often as possible. If we really wanted to make this as simple as possible, it's like, okay, how do you want to feel? Like if you were to imagine what it is that you want to create, how would you be feeling? How would you be feeling if you had that level of success? How would you be feeling if you had that much money in the bank account? How would you be feeling if you had these clients and this specific offer? How would you be feeling if you and your partner, or if you had the partner of your dreams? And then how can you feel that feeling more now and as often as possible? That's really like, in a nutshell, how to create what it is that you want, how to shift instantly and start attracting in what you want. So 2 more points here, just to wrap this up in a pretty bow. That's been really, really helpful for me. The first of the final 2 is realizing that it's about the journey, not the destination. And that is one of the most cliche things ever. But it is, the more that I have pondered this and read books, and, any guru, any enlightened person, anybody who has been around for a while will tell you this. It's not about the destination. And you've experienced this in your life. There's been things that you have put on a pedestal that you said, like, when I get this thing, I'm set. Right? If I could just make this much money, life will be good. I'll be happy. That'll be it for me. Like that, it's just like this one thing. And then you hit it. And what happens? If I could just hit this next thing, then I would be set. I would be so happy. I would be like, there's always going to be a next level. This is normal. This is nothing. I hate when people are like, oh, don't be too ambitious. Be content. You don't need to. It's like literally the whole point of being on this planet is to grow and evolve. So, like, understanding that there's going to be a next rung on the ladder. There's going to be another peak for you to climb to. There's never just like that one thing. If you ever get to that point, it's like you might as well die, you know? There's always, it's normal and it's healthy to continue to have goals and want to pursue more. But where it gets unhealthy is where that pursuit and chase of the next thing comes at the detriment of your life, comes at the lack of contentness, the lack of happiness, the lack of feeling the fulfillment and the excitement and the expansion now, because you're putting it and you're hanging it all on a future day, on a future goal, on a future thing. So you're saying, I'll feel successful, I'll feel happy, I'll feel loved, I'll feel fulfilled when I hit this goal. And then you hit the goal and immediately, and I mean immediately, it's like, what's the next thing? So now your life has become this constant trek where you are putting your future happiness, your future feelings based on a thing that you're going to hit, feel it for 2 seconds, and then it's on to the next thing. So then your life is just climbing and not allowing yourself to feel good now, basically. Right? So you can feel those things now. You have access to emotions and thoughts and free will, and you have access to every single feeling that you want to feel, that you think you are going to feel with that future thing. You have access to those feelings now. If you weren't meant to feel those things, you would not have access to those feelings now. God would have been like, you cannot feel successful until you reach this very specific feeling of success. Otherwise, I'd let you feel it now. But we have the feelings now. You are meant to feel them now. This is how it works. You attract the vibe that you are emitting. You want more success. You want more fulfillment. You want more fun. You want more joy. You want more feeling. You can feel it now. So if you can train yourself to straddle the line of ambition and contentment, of course, there's going to be another peak that you're wanting to climb. Of course, there's going to be that big goal. You were made this ambitious for a reason. There's nothing wrong with you. Of course, you are made to do big things and you haven't even gotten started yet. What you're going to create on this planet, you can't even fathom. It's going to blow your freaking mind by the time it's all said and done. That's by design, but not at the expense of your current peace and contentment. You can be ambitious and content at the same time. This is possible. It's about straddling that line, having fun now on the way to the bigger thing, feeling successful and worthy now on the way to the bigger thing, feeling free and safe and happy now on the way to the bigger thing. It's just going to keep getting better and better. And what you'll find is the more that you're able to do that, the faster you move. It's wild. Wild. And then the last thing here, it goes very hand in hand, is go have fun. What does positive expectancy feel like for you? If you knew, like my favorite analogy when people talk about attraction or manifesting or calling in what you want, my favorite analogy for this is you put in the order and then it's done, right? You put in the order, you play your part until it gets there, and you already know it's done. Ask and it is given. So when you go to a restaurant or you place an order on Amazon, you say, okay, what do I want? What's next? Okay, I want this thing. Perfect. I'm going to place that order. Of course I can have it. There's no question I can have it. If I want it, I can have it. Okay, cool. I'm going to put in my order. Yay, it's going to be here. The only difference is you don't know exactly when it's going to come. That's it. Just like at a restaurant. It could be there. Sometimes you get delighted and surprised. It's there way faster than you were thinking. Other times it takes a little bit longer because maybe you kept moving around. They couldn't find your table. That's what it's like when you're not minding your energy, when your energy is a little all over the place. The more that you shift your vibe from what you want to something else, it's just prolonging it a little bit longer, a little bit longer. So how can you live your life or go through this launch or pursue dating or whatever it is that you're working on that you want to create right now with the vibe of positive expectancy? If you knew it was coming, what would you do? How would you feel? And what would you do? So it's a twofold situation. You got to feel the thoughts. Yay, it's coming. I don't know exactly when, but it's coming. Yay. If it was coming, how excited would you be? You'd be so freaking excited. Imagine that. You feel shitty because there's a part of you that doesn't believe it's coming. It's coming. And the second piece here is you got to play the part. You got to stay at the damn table, right? You want freedom, stay at the freedom table. Keep emitting the freedom vibe. But the second that you shift from the freedom table to the scarcity table, now they can't find you to give you your freedom, to give you that thing. So you got to back it with your action too. What would you do? What would be the action if you knew the thing that you wanted was coming? What actions would you take? So that is aligned action. I know this goal is happening, if not now, sometime very soon in the future. So if this goal was in the bag, what would I price this thing at? Who would I hire? What would I do? That is going to shift, that is going to give you such a clear picture of the things in your life that are in and out of alignment with the thing that you actually want. Okay? This stuff works like magic, but not really because it's just energy. Ooh, I'm doing ASMR and I don't want to do that. I hate that. Okay. Anyway, that's it. That's how we shift the vibe when, quote, nothing seems to be working, which it's a lie. That's not true. There's so much working in your world. Shift that. Look at it with a different lens. Take off the shit goggles. Put on the rose glasses. Who cares if you're being delusional? If it means that it changes your point of attraction, you start bringing in more of what you want. Is that not worth it? Who cares what anybody thinks? Okay, that's all I have for you. I love you.